Hi everyone, let's talk about relations and relating blueprints in Port. What is a relation between blueprints? A relation is a no-code building block in Port that enables you to create a software catalog that reflects the dependency between your different software components. A relation allows you to create a mapping between your different blueprints and create a dependency graph between them so that you can understand how the different assets in your catalog talk to one each other, consume resources from one another, and which blueprint and which assets depend on another asset. Let's look at some examples for relations. So if we look at the blueprints on the left side here, we have the service blueprint, which is related to the package blueprint. That is because we want to show for each service which packages does it use. Likewise, we have the cloud resource blueprint, which is related to the cloud account blueprint. That is because we want to see for each cloud account which cloud resources does it host, and so on and so forth. Now, relations come in two distinct types. The first is a single type relation. A single type relation is used to map a single target entity to the source, while a many type relation is used to map multiple target entities to the source. Now, if we go ahead and look at our previous example, we can see here that for the service blueprint, the relation to the packages blueprint is of many type because a single service can use multiple packages. But the cloud resource blueprint uses a single relation to the cloud account blueprint. That is because a cloud resource can only exist in a single cloud account. Now let's look at the relation definition structure. The relations object is part of the blueprint definition structure, which we explored previously. And a single relation is defined by an ID, which is used to distinctly identify that relation and used for API and programmatic access. We have the relation title, which is used as a human readable title that will appear in the Port's UI. We have the target blueprint, which is the actual target blueprint in our relation. So if we look at our service as a blueprint example before, and we want to map it to our packages blueprint, then the target here will be the identifier of the package blueprint. We have the required field to denote if the relation is required or not. And we have the relation type, whether it's a many relation or a single type relation. Now let's look at an API example showing how to ingest an entity with a relation. So here we have the complete definition of an entity which has relations mapped to it. So first of all, we can see here the identifier of the new entity. We can also see the properties object along with the different values for the properties of this entity. And we can see the relations object. Now, each key in the relations object matches the identifier of a relation on our blueprint. So if we go with the previous example, we can see here the cloud account relation. Now, the value of each key in the relations object is the identifier of the entity from the related blueprint. So again, with the previous example, in here, the value for the cloud account key will be the identifier of an entity from the cloud account blueprint. Here we can see the page of the authorization service. And at the bottom here, we can see the related entities section. Every tab that you see here is an actual relation from the service blueprint to a different blueprint. So if we go ahead and look at the running services tab, each one of these entities represents a deployment and the running service or a running instance of the authorization service. So we can see the authorization service running in the test environment, we can see it running in the staging environment, so on and so forth. And again, every line you see here is an entity that is enabled by the relation between the service blueprint and the running service blueprint. Now let's talk about mirror properties. A mirror property allows you to map data from related entities to your entity. Mirror properties can be used for blueprints that have relations defined. So if we look at the example here, we can see our cloud resource blueprint and our cloud account blueprint, and we can see we have a relation between them, and we can also see the environment type mirror property. Basically what happens here is we map the environment type property of the cloud account as a mirror property to our cloud resource, allowing for every cloud resource entity to also immediately show the environment type that comes from its related cloud account. And if we look at the UI representation of this information, then we can see here in the cloud resources table the column that belongs to the environment type, which is information that arrives as a mirror property from our cloud account blueprint. Up next, now that we have a fully defined software catalog and data model, we can start ingesting data into the software catalog and use our blueprints and relations.